What's going on, guys? Ryan here with Jedha Patrol. Today we're going to take a look at the D23 in-game Captain America and some of the issues we got with it and compare it to a couple other caps. Alright guys, we're back with D23 in-game cap, a exclusive released at D23. This is a totally separate figure from the one we're going to be getting next year. So I thought we'd take some time, look at the issues with it that some of you guys have brought up, and compare it to the concept cap and the Infinity War cap, and we'll kind of pick a winner out of those three. So first off, let's take a look at this head sculpt, guys. Everybody's saying the thing is too small. The head sculpt is too tiny for the body. And I gotta say that the head sculpt I think is okay. For the size of the body, I think the shoulders and the chest are too large. That would be the issue I would have with it if I was going to take any issue with this figure whatsoever. Zooming in here, you can see that the head size is normal if you look at the rest of the body, but they added that scale mail, which is an extra piece on top of the chest armor. That gives it the appearance of being a little bit more puffed out. And if you look at the shoulders, they're too flat. Now, when we break out the concept art cap here in just a minute, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But right across the shoulders, they're too flat. He has no traps, and the shoulders are too wide for this particular body. So I think the head size is probably okay based on the legs and the torso. But when they added that extra armor on there with the scale mail, it just made it look a little funky. So that's number one. Number two, the buckles on the actual strap. So if we look right here, you see these guys right here, they look tiny compared to some other figures. And if you actually just compare it to other Captain America figures, they don't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, if the straps were meant to go through those buckles, then how is it physically possible to actually make that happen? So I understand that gripe. I get it. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I'm not sure why they did that, because if you look at Infinity War cap, it makes sense. Like, they have the right size. So I don't understand why they went with this decision. I don't know if these are like leftover parts from some other figure, or I don't know what the heck they were thinking when they did this. But those are definitely an issue. Moving on down towards the scale mail, it does look fantastic in person. I mean, it really does. You guys can see the detail going on right there. It really, really looks good. However, it's too freaking big. It's too big. It puffs out the chest too much. The plastic or rubber, whatever the heck it's made out of, is just a little bit too thick, I think. If we turn him sideways here, let's see if we can't do that. You can see just how much right in here, how much that's puffed out right there. And it's due to that scale mail. I mean, it's just too thick. And now somebody actually wanted to see, does the red and white actually go underneath that scale mail? So let's take a look at that real quick. If you see underneath, you can, it does go underneath, but you're not getting any. I mean, it's not separated, I guess is what I'm saying. This is just barely. So I knew somebody was asking about that, so I want to make sure I show that off. But, so I put you right there. But I think just the thickness of the armor on the scale mail is just a little too thick, and maybe is causing that to look a little large. So I think that's really the issue going on here. A side note, there's not really an issue with the figure, just something you got to think about when posing. Somebody pointed it out on the last video that the neck, the Adam's apple, was off center from the actual the head, the chin. So that was kind of driving some people nuts. So pay attention to that, because I just remembered that was a thing. I'm so used to like the single piece, the neck head thing going being a single piece. It actually is nice to have this as a posability option there and articulation. It is nice to do that, but if you're posing it, take some special care to make sure it's right. Moving down the extra parts of the figure, the accessories, the ones that really everybody was hoping they would nail, and it really makes no sense why they released this figure with the shield broken the wrong direction. I mentioned this in a review video that maybe, you know, Marvel changed it at the last second, the way the shield was going to break, or however that. But honestly, at this point, Hot Toys should have a strong enough relationship with Marvel to say, hey, you know, we're going to tell you we're breaking it horizontally versus vertically and all this kind of stuff. So I can understand that, and you know, that being a problem. You know, it still looks fantastic. It just is not screen accurate. And when you're spending $250, $300, $350 on a figure, the screen accuracy is kind of a big deal. One of the other issues people have been mentioning on this figure is the lack of weathering. This guy's got a battle damage shield, busted up shield. He's got that hammer. Clearly, this is meant to be from the final fight scene in Endgame, yet he is pretty much clean all the way throughout. And if you were to compare photos of the promo video or the promo photos from the Endgame figure that we're getting next year versus this one is super, super clean versus the Endgame one, which does have some weathering on it, some battle damage. Now, I would say it doesn't have enough battle damage. I would love to see like a bloodied up mask, a bloodied up sculpt. I mean, ripped. I mean, it should just be epic from that. And we saw that they dropped us the battle damage mark 85, which is amazing. I'm super happy they did that. We deserve to have a battle damage cap from Endgame as well. So don't just give us a busted up shield and a super clean figure. Give us a busted up shield broken the right way with the hammer and with some actual battle damage on there, the bloody sculpt. That's what we need. We need all of that to complete the collections. So I've got Infinity War cap and Endgame cap side by side, and you can see right away what I'm talking about with the shoulder width. The added armor on the padding on the shoulders makes it look a little wider. And if you look right across the neckline, like right across here, you see how flat this is versus this, where he actually has some traps there. It actually looks more, anatomically correct, if we will, for an action figure. And I think that really given the appearance that the shoulders on the Endgame cap are way too wide versus the Infinity War cap. The coloring on the Infinity War cap is beautiful. I know it didn't get a lot of love when it was first released, but the more time I spend with that figure, the more I like it. And then, of course, we can see the difference in the scale of the head sculpt versus each other. So you see the masked head sculpt looking a little small versus the unmasked head sculpt of Chris Evans on the right. And, while the Infinity War sculpt isn't perfect, it does look like it's a better scale than the Endgame version, and it just looks it just looks better. The material is the same material. The boots are essentially the same boots, just painted differently. The belts are different, and you can see just the weathering. Like I said earlier, with the weathering going on, the Infinity War cap, this guy's been through hard times, been through some battles, where Endgame cap, even though he's got a busted up shield, is perfectly clean, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. On top of that, you look at the buckles going on the straps on Infinity War cap versus the Endgame. So if you see how small these guys are versus these guys, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense going on there. So that's some issues we got there, which tells me they know how to do it. They just didn't do it correctly for whatever reason. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at another cap, concept art cap, Endgame cap, Infinity War cap. And by far, guys, I'm telling you right now, this concept art cap, why did they not give us this body? The shoulders are fantastically shaped. The traps are there. It's a fantastic mold, fantastic body. It's fantastic in every single way. All they had to do was paint it, add a star in the middle, and they would have been good to go. But I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know why they didn't use this mold. It's crazy. But you can clearly see the difference in the traps here. You see the traps right there. The way these arch down. They got the big shoulders there, which is great. It looks fantastic. It really just, it looks fantastic. Down to here, sculpt wise, mold, proportions, everything. I think concept cap is the best proportioned Captain America we have had ever. People selling the concept cap are going to be kicking themselves later, because as soon as this thing's gone and the secondary market kind of dries up a little bit as far as availability, that guy's going to skyrocket. I'm telling you, because just look at it compared to the other ones. It's a night and day difference. Night and day difference. It's just crazy. The proportions are beautiful, but you can look at it even on here. They nailed down the buckles on the harness here. So they could have done it there. I don't know why they didn't do that. It really just kind of, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't understand it. But in my opinion, the best cap out of all of these three, obviously, is going to be the concept art cap. I think it's beautiful. I don't think you can beat it. The Infinity War cap's next. The Endgame cap is going to get a whole lot of points for nostalgia purposes and memories and feels from the film. But I don't think it's the definitive cap. After spending some time with this guy, posing him, he looks great on the shelf, but I don't think it's the definitive cap. So, don't spend the $1,000 on this figure. If you can get it for retail, then by all means, get it. It's an excellent figure. So I'm not telling you not to buy it at all. I'm just telling you that if you were to get it for the $800, $900, $1,000 price tag, I think you're overpaying by 3 times the amount. I think it's a good $300 figure. I'm happy to have it in the collection. I'm not getting rid of it by any means. It's just not the one we really wanted from Hot Toys. That being said, guys, I will tell you, I do like the figure, so I'm not just here to bash on the figure, but there have been some concerns in the community about this figure, so I wanted to kind of throw those out there. For anybody who's considering buying this thing, like I said, if you can get it for retail or close to it, then absolutely it's a great figure. It is a Hot Toys figure. It is beautifully painted. The cut and sew is fantastic. It's a great figure. It's just not the in-game figure that we really wanted to get with all the issues. The buckles really make no sense whatsoever. I can deal with the head sculpt issue and the larger shoulders. I can get it in person. It actually looks a lot better than you might be seeing on camera or photos. I think it's not that crazy, but it is off a little bit. And then the scale mail being a little too thick, puffing that chest out a little bit too much. I think there's an issue there. The star, I can't believe I almost didn't mention the star. The star, which I did mention in the review, the star on the chest is actually smaller than it should be. It is out of proportion as well. So I'm glad I didn't forget that. But it is an issue with that as well. And they really should have nailed that down. There's no excuse. They have great communication with Marvel. There's no excuse for them to get that part wrong. So, and I don't know why they didn't use the concept art cap body. They should have just done that. It was perfect. I don't know. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you like this kind of stuff, then obviously subscribe to the channel. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, absolutely do that. Jedha Patrol in the comments section down below. I'll put a link as a pinned post so you guys can find it really easy. But yeah, I'm just telling you right now, like I said, if you can get this thing for retail, grab it. A little over retail even, which if you can get it because it's a D23 exclusive, pick it up. But past that, guys, I'd be patient, wait for the in-game version. Hopefully, Hot Toys will start seeing the community. They will fix these things, which they have been known to do in the past. So hopefully they're watching. And guys, as always, collect what you like. We'll see you next time.